George Orwell predicted this. So at what point do we realize that the left is going to try to suppress us and censor us to the point where we no longer have anything to say and express ourselves with, because they're finding ways to eliminate the opposition through legal terms, as they would like to characterize it. Those terms and conditions that you sign on to, or actually that you agree to when you join things like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, these companies are using these types of terms and conditions in order to censor, not to mention remove, anyone who's associated with the conservatives, anyone who is labeled as far right, and they're using this as a way to remove people. They're not even warning them at all. They're not even placing warnings on them. They're outright just banning them with no warning, no strike system, nothing. If you're a conservative, you could be at risk of losing access to your bank account. If you use PayPal or anything to transfer your money to your account, if you use PayPal and you're a conservative, then you are risking losing access to those funds, because PayPal and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram are going crazy now. They're censoring people over what they think. And as you clear in the little intro that I put before, the little introduction, I've been reading 1984 recently again. I actually got the book in high school. It was at a book fair, but I got this book because I was told that it was good. Reading it from the mentality of a high school kid, I didn't really understand it. I don't know if you read it, 1984, this one right here, but I never really understood 1984. Yeah, I understood that it was, a dystopian, future where, it's a dictatorship. You can only do certain things. But I never really thought that it would get to this point. Because, like I said, when you're a teenager, you're not really into these types of things. When I was a kid, I wasn't really into classic literature, But realizing that I still had this in one of my drawers, I read it again. And I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm 22 now, I'm more mature. Can I understand what this book is telling me? And this book, George Orwell, he predicted this. Like, there's no joke anymore. Like, everything that he says in this book that goes on in 1984, based on on his novel, this is coming into fruition. This is no joke. I know you're gonna think, well, wait a minute, Carlos, aren't you overthinking things a bit? But in reality, no, I'm not. I don't think I am, because everything that he talks about here, the way he describes the world in 1984 in this book. It's everything that's been going on in 2018 now. If he had labeled it 2019 instead of 1984, then it would have been a lot more accurate, sure. But this guy, George Orwell, he literally predicted how the world would be like in the future. And this was written in the 50s. I think 54. Let me see. Well, I don't know if the publishing right, but yeah, it was originally printed in 1950. It was published in 1950. This edition is a 1977 reprint. But it was in 1950s. You're talking about almost like what? 79 years? Probably? Yeah, no wait. 69 years? Yeah, because 1950, 50, 2000, yeah, 69 years I would say. Yeah, almost 70 years. It's almost 70 years. So he almost 69 years ago, this guy, predicted how the left would literally censor us. How the left would literally use anything to censor any opposition in order to justify it under hate speech. Now I'm gonna read a little excerpt from you guys, and I'm gonna explain to you how this little introduction. It's just barely in the introduction too. It's like this is barely like what is it like the this is like barely scratching the surface. But even by the beginning of the book, you already get a grasp of how the world really is. So I'm gonna be reading you this excerpt, all right? So, and I quote from the book: "Any sound that Winston made. Winston is the main character of the book. Any sound that Winston made above the level of a very low whisper will be picked up by it. Moreover, so long he remained within the field of vision which the mental plaque commanded, he could be seen as well as heard. There was, of course, no way of knowing whether you were being watched at any given moment, how often, or on what system. The thought police plugged in on any individual wire was guesswork." So, that's just the intro, right? And the thought police, in this case, and again, it's like, well, people say, well, that's not true. No one's watching us. They are. Through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anything you tweet, anything you say is being observed. And these people are constantly looking, okay, which guy should we ban? Is this person, agreeing with what we want them to say, or do we not want, or are they thinking what we do not want them to think? And again, the thought police. Like in this world, the thought police basically controls what people think. Meaning that if you think something that they do not want you to think, then you're a criminal at that point. And that's what Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter are doing. And many of these companies are doing, because they're banning people because they do not agree. They do not think the way they do, and and for me that's alarming. That's alarming. And the fact that George Orwell is literally warned us about this almost half a century ago, and actually over half a century ago, it's very alarming, because now, if you're conservative, you could be losing your access to your bank account. You can be losing your access to, to community, to spread your message. And the thing is that, the left is going insane now. Now with the whole incident with the Trump winning in 2016, and now with the election coming up in like next year, the left is going insane. They're doing everything in their power to limit conservative speech. In the instance of Laura Loomer, she is was a conservative activist. I don't know if you saw her on the news recently. She was also in some YouTube clips too. She was actually in one of these YouTube clips, which I found incredibly hysterical, by the way. She went to Nancy Pelosi's mansion in order to protest the wall, that she had around her house. Now, Nancy Pelosi said that walls are immoral, walls are racist, and having a wall around your house or your country is bigotry, right? Well, Laura Loomer literally went to her house with 3 undocumented immigrants, and they literally recorded Nancy Pelosi's mansion being surrounded by a wall. And then she was like, "Well, Nancy, I thought you said walls are immoral." So they jump over the wall, they jump over it, and also Nancy Pelosi and Governor of California Gavin Newsom have been trying to make California a sanctuary state, meaning that if you're an illegal immigrant, you can stay. We're not going to deport you to that. They want to make this a sanctuary state. So when the police arrive, Laura Loomer is using the exact same arguments. It's Nancy Pelosi's house. This is a sanctuary property. She wants these people to stay. You can't remove us because it's a sanctuary. It's a sanctuary property. It's a sanctuary state. And then when apparently Nancy Pelosi also did not like the idea that if you lock your doors, then you're being racist as well. I'm not really. She made a comment regarding locking your doors, but she was not a fan of that. So Laura Loomer essentially goes up to the door, tries to open it, and guess what? It's locked. So that's a little brief of who she is. She also handcuffed herself to one of the Twitter's offices in New York because she was banned from Twitter over a tweet that I think was not offensive, but Twitter found it offensive. But in this case now, on this article was released on the 5th of February, which is like literally almost a month ago. But it's scary. It's scary to say the least, because the reason why this is coming to light now, and I'm looking into it now, is because a lot of conservative, speakers and a lot of conservative supporters are being banned left and right. Because of Laura Loomer, she was banned from PayPal. And this is from and I'll quote from the article. And one of the questions says that Loomer said that she planned to take legal action against the left-wing terrorists and tech tyrants who are trying to shut me down. I have nothing to lose anymore, so trust me, when I say I will stop at nothing to make sure justice is served for the way Silicon Valley has defranchised me, falsely accusing me of being a white supremacist, a Nazi, anti-Muslim, a racist, a bigot, and every other smear in the book, she wrote. And what I find interesting is that this article, I don't even have to know the news organization to know that this person by the name of Avery Anapol is liberal leaning, because every time when it's a liberal article writer or it's a liberal reporter or it's a liberal in general, they basically call conservatives far right. Laura Loomer, they call her a far right, straight up. And the thing is that this is a liberal mentality at this case. Further on in the article, and I quote, Loomer said she has accumulated over $40,000 in credit card debt for right-wing activism, and asked her fellow followers to send checks to her personally instead of supporting her via PayPal. I can't even exist in society because the actual Nazis in tech and on the left constantly ban me because I post facts. How am I supposed to pay my bills? She wrote. I can't get a regular job because I've been accused of being a Nazi. Am I supposed to be homeless? Loomer was kicked off of Twitter in November, said in her post that she was also been banned from Uber, Lyft, GoFundMe, and Venmo. She is one of a number of far-right figures to be banned by tech companies. So not only that, not only was she blocked, not only was she denied access to PayPal to access her funds that she needs, but she was also banned from Uber and Lyft, a lot of companies as well. Not to mention Twitter. Twitter was just the tip of the iceberg. No, now she's not allowed to access her funds. Now she's not allowed to use Lyft or Uber or GoFundMe. It's like, where does it stop? When do these companies start realizing that, you know what, this is censorship? You're literally censoring people for not thinking the way that you want them to think. And another one, for example, another far-right activist by the name of Tommy Robinson, he's been banned. He's been permanently banned from Facebook, and he was banned with no warning at all. Just like that, simple. Well, I guess he did get a warning, but it was just one. Like usually, I think Facebook has like a 1, 2 strike or 3 strike type policy. But he got warned once because it was hate speech. But the guy, the thing is that with liberals, they say hate speech in order to to justify, I guess, their censorship. If I say illegal immigrants should come in legally and do the paperwork, then they'll say, well, it's hate speech. You're promoting racism because it's hate speech. But no, it's not hate speech. The thing is that when people use hate speech a lot, they're fine. It's easier for them to justify their censorship. So again, so I'm gonna go from this article. Tommy Robinson, the far-right founder of the English Defense League, has been permanently banned from Facebook and Instagram for repeatedly breaking policies on hate speech. Facebook said. The company, said Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, sorry if I butchered that name, broke rules that ban public calls for violence against people based on protected characteristics. Now, I don't know what they mean by protected characteristics. If they mean by minorities, then I don't buy it. I really don't. Rules that ban supporting or appearing with organized hate groups. Again, what do you mean by hate groups? Be specific, please. Really, what's a hate group to you guys? Conservatives? What is it? And policies that prevent people from using the site to bully others. Okay, if he's breaking policies, like if he's violating Facebook and Instagram policies, because according to you, his hate speech is used to bully people, then why aren't you banning the liberals who are constantly trying to dox these people, who are literally calling them incest babies and calling them any cracker, fascist, Nazi? So why aren't you banning them? That's hate speech too. You can say bullying because you don't want to promote bullying in your platform. Then what do you call that? What do you call that? If let's say, for example, if you call someone who is obese, if you call them, fat asses, or you call, let's say, I don't know, if you call anyone that is considered insensitive, like an obese person, if you call them a lazy fat ass, then that's called bullying. But if you call a conservative a Nazi, a white supremacist, a alt-right, or a fascist, then that's not bullying. Really, you're literally trying to ruin that person's reputation over the line accusations. So that's what bothers me, is that they're banning him over hate speech because they don't want to have bullying. But don't liberals do that on Facebook all the time when you literally present an argument, a factual argument that disagrees with their claim, and then they say, well, you're a Nazi fascist, you're a white supremacist. No, that's bullying too. But Facebook doesn't want to recognize it. It's clear. It's a bias. It's a clear bias. And then further on to the article, it says, in a blog post, Facebook said, when ideas and opinions cross the line and the amount of hate speech that may create an environment of intimidation, exclusion for certain groups in society, in some cases with potentially dangerous offline implications, we take action. Tommy Robinson's Facebook page has repeatedly broken these standards, posting material that uses dehumanizing language and calls for violence targeted at Muslims. He has also behaved in ways that violate our policies around organized hate. Alright, now, when it comes to the issue about environment of intimidation and exclusion for certain groups in society, to me, from what I'm getting at, is that it only applies to the left. Meaning that if you are using your platform, using your Facebook profile, your Twitter profile, your Instagram profile, to basically, in a way, to spread information that does not go with liberal standards, then you're spreading intimidation and you're promoting exclusion, and it's ridiculous. But the left does this all the time. They're censoring you from Facebook, they're censoring you from Instagram, they're censoring you from Twitter, they're censoring you from YouTube. A lot of conservative people are getting demonetized now for being conservative or actually aligning with conservative ideologies, even though they claim that it's, family-friendly content. But this is something that doesn't really make sense, because if you're saying that if you're banning this guy, you're banning Tommy Robinson because apparently his hate speech promotes exclusion and intimidation, then what about the liberals who are saying that we need to kill all fascists? What about the extreme feminists? I call them feminazis. What about the extreme feminazis who are saying let's kill men and kill sons and boys? It's like, no, you don't ban them. Because it's your agenda. It fits your narrative, okay? And in another article regarding the incidents of PayPal, we're going back to PayPal now. This actually came out today. This came out recently. It's from local Houston and Texas news. This is from Texas. This is from Texas, a Lone Star state. This is from Texas, all right? So the title states, PayPal accused of banning conservatives, okay? The attacks on conservatives and conservatism aren't stopping. If you're conservative, how you manage your money and who you choose to do that with could become a problem to you. Right, and I'll keep going. PayPal is now censoring groups with help from the Southern Poverty Law Center. Conservative journalist Laura Loomer says she's been banned from PayPal. Loomer also claims to have her account suspended by Chase Bank. Okay, Gary Poland with the Texas Conservative Review talks KTRH. This is way over the line. All right, and reading this article actually got me concerned because I have Chase Bank. I have an account in Chase Bank, so the fact that even Chase Bank, not just PayPal who denied access to her funds, but the fact that Chase Bank suspended Laura Loomer's account, meaning she has no access to her money whatsoever. How is this not censorship? How is this okay? How is this okay? How can you say, well, we're banning you, we're going against hate speech? You're literally hurting people in the process. You're denying conservatives the right to access their funds. These are people who probably need to pay their bills, probably have to pay a mortgage, their cars, their electric bills. Are you literally saying you're okay with banning these people or denying these people their accounts because of the way they think, and you're okay with the potential of them losing their homes, losing their cars, basically living out on the streets because they do not agree with what you think? Where's the tolerance in that? Where is the sympathy in that, liberals? Come on. You guys are literally going way overboard with this. It's one thing to be biased, and another thing is to literally harm people and denying them access to their money, the money that they earned. So how is this acceptable? What the hell is going on here? Why are you guys pushing for this? And the CEO of PayPal, by the name of Daniel Schulman, He's basically been talking about this a lot. He's like, for example, in one of the articles by CBN News, basically says that the CEO, and I quote, the CEO of PayPal has revealed the multi-billion-dollar service partners with the leftist organization Southern Poverty Law Center to decide who should be blacklisted from the company, using company corporate values as their defense. Which again, a lot of these liberal, social media outlets and companies are using this now. Company corporate, values. PayPal has taken intentional steps to deny access to conservatives. It is a big cause for concern for Christians because the SPLC has taken an anti-Christian slant in recent years, targeting mainstream groups just because they hold biblical views about sexuality and life. CBN News has reported extensively on the SPLC's radical agenda to silence conservative Christian groups like D. James Kennedy Ministries and the Family Research Council. Now, what happened to freedom of religion? I'm not the most religious guy ever. I'll tell you, I'll admit that right now. I'm not the most religious person ever. But the First Amendment defends people from practicing any religion that they want without fear of prosecution. That's the First Amendment. That's the first thing that it states. That's literally there, and yet companies are violating this amendment. The Constitution is the highest law of the land. So why are companies allowed to violate the First Amendment? That's the thing that makes this country great, is that you can practice any religion that you want without inciting any violence, and you can live free of prosecution. If you are Muslim or you practice the religion of Islam, feel free to practice it. Sure, go to mosque, get together with your other relatives and friends who practice your religion, and do it where you don't have to fear about being hunted down by the government. If you're a Christian, the same way. Go to church. Go do something. Do something without fear of prosecution. But these companies are literally doing just that. They're pushing for censorship. They're literally prosecuting you because of the way you believe. PayPal is literally going after conservatives because They are Christian. They hold Christian values. You know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. How are these companies allowed to violate the First Amendment of all things? What happened to freedom of speech? What happened to freedom of religion? What happened to freedom of the press? Why are these liberals so fixated on thinking just one way to the point where they're literally forcing other people to, to think the way they are? Like, seriously, the reason why George Orwell wrote this book is to literally warn us what could happen. What could happen? People, and a lot of people say, well, George Orwell thinks about, he predicted this with Trump and all stuff. Trump, is the reason why 1984 was written. No! George Orwell, communism was the reason why George Orwell wrote 1984. Communism, not fascism, communism. Communism. So literally liberals, if you're saying this book is because, because of Trump, Trump is the reason why Orwell wrote 1984. No, you're wrong. It was communism. Extreme left ideas, socialism. Like, really, liberals, get it together. Like, really, this is unacceptable. Like, how can you justify banning anyone? Not just banning them from Twitter, okay? But literally denying them access to their own money? Really? Like, really, that's literally over the line. You're literally becoming invasive at this point, okay? Like, it's ridiculous. It's become ridiculous. It's way over the line now. And then further into the article, and I quote, meanwhile, PayPal's Schulman, president of the, PayPal, Daniel Schulman, said his philosophy is this: businesses need to be a force for good in those values, in issues that they believe in. Really? Businesses need to be a force for good in those values and issues that they believe in. So you're kind of outright saying that, really, so you're basically saying that you're okay with censorship because it doesn't agree with what you believe, right? Further on, but the Electric Frontier Foundation, EFF, a liberal nonprofit defense of free expression and privacy online, has continually expressed concern about major companies such as PayPal using their power to become de facto internet censors. So the fact that the Electronic Frontier Foundation is a liberal nonprofit organization, this is a liberal company. Even they are literally even they are becoming concerned. They're becoming concerned over the fact that companies like PayPal are using their power and their influence to promote censorship. Come on, like I'm telling you right now, the fact and the thing is that this is where it becomes scary, okay? When a liberal company is literally telling other liberal companies that you guys are censoring them, when your own people are literally saying, hey, you guys are literally becoming insane over here, that's a huge eye-opener, and that's a bunch of red flags going on right now. Because when your own people are literally calling you out, then really, like, how is that not a cause to become skeptical? To say, you know what, maybe we are becoming a little bit over the top. But what the hell, like, really, how is this becoming the norm now? And I don't know, like, after seeing this, after reading this article, especially with Laura Loomer having her account blocked by Chase, meaning her bank account, she's like, Chase suspended her account. I'm becoming concerned because I have Chase and I'm conservative too. So like, it's ridiculous now. Like, I'm thinking of just taking all my money out and just going somewhere else. Go to Bank of America or something, because it's ridiculous. This is outright censorship. George Orwell predicted this. The thought police is literally on the move now. Now if you're accused of thought crime, then you're a criminal now. If you're accused of thought crime, you're done. Your life is done. There's its face crime with Nick Sandman because he just simply happened to smirk. People literally, people were literally giving him a lot of problems because of the little smirk. That was face crime. George Orwell explains this in the book. That was face crime. Now it's thought crime. So, dude, like, when does this stop? Like, really, when do we put an end to this? All right? Because, it's ridiculous. Like, the liberal media and the liberal companies are now using everything in their power, justifying it under company policies to censor people they do not like. Really? You guys are way over the line at this point. You guys are insane. Even some of your own liberal friends are calling you out on this nonsense. Okay? That's going to be the end of the video for today, you guys. Let me know what you think. Do you think, well, it's hate speech? It's hate speech. We need to stop hate speech whenever it is prevalent. Or do you think this is a bunch of nonsense. There's a bunch of nonsense. George Orwell literally predicted this, and you know, this needs to be stopped. All right, this needs to be stopped. Subscribe if you haven't already, guys. Like it, dislike it, political reasons, video quality, whatever. Free speech. Enjoy it while we can, because apparently now these companies are literally trying to censor us. So express your hate speech. You know, express your free speech, not hate speech, your free speech. Sorry about that. Just reading all these hate speech quotes got me all confused now. But no, express your free speech. In fact, you know what? The way I want you to do it is simple as this. Dislike the video if you want. And I will encourage it. You have free speech. Enjoy it while you can. Enjoy it while you can, because you never know. Now, in the future, you might not be able to dislike anything now. So, as much as I hate to say it, dislike the video. Free speech. Enjoy your free speech while you can. Alright, you guys? This has been Carlos the Deviant. Until next time, you guys.